Welcome back my YouTube channel Old Car Stories. Today. We're diving into the fascinating history and details of this car, 1970 Ford Torino, a true icon of American muscle and style. The Ford Torino was introduced by Ford as a mid-size car aimed at combining comfort with performance. By 1970, the Torino had grown in stature and reputation, becoming a favorite among car enthusiasts across the United States. The 1970 model year was particularly significant because Ford redesigned the Torino to make it more aggressive and sportier, directly targeting the muscle car market that was booming at the time. One of the most noticeable features of the 1970 Torino was its bold front end, featuring a split grille with quad headlights. This design gave the car a distinctive and commanding presence on the road. The Torino was built on Ford's intermediate platform, which made it larger and more spacious than many competitors, offering comfortable seating for 5 adults without compromising its sporty feel. Under the hood, the 1970 Torino came with a range of engine options, from efficient 6-cylinder models to powerful V8s. The top performance option was the 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8 engine, producing an impressive 335 horsepower. This powerful engine was paired with either a 3-speed manual, 4-speed manual, or a 3-speed automatic transmission, giving drivers a range of choices depending on their driving style and preferences. The Torino was available in several trims, including the base model, the Torino Brougham, and the high-performance Torino GT, which came with sportier styling and upgraded suspension for better handling. One of the most legendary versions was the Torino Cobra, introduced late in 1970, which featured aggressive styling cues like hood scoops, racing stripes, and special badging, making it a sought-after muscle car. The 1970 Torino was not just about raw power. It also offered modern conveniences such as optional air conditioning, power steering, and upgraded interior trims, reflecting the era's push for both performance and comfort. Inside, the Torino featured a simple yet functional dashboard, with large gauges and easy-to-use controls, designed to keep the driver focused on the road and the thrill of driving. The suspension system was tuned for a balance between comfort and sportiness, using coil springs in the front and leaf springs in the rear, ensuring the car handled well on both highways and curvy back roads. The 1970 Ford Torino also made a name for itself in motorsports, particularly in NASCAR, where it competed against other muscle cars and proved its performance credentials on the racetrack. Its racing success helped boost the Torino's image among performance car buyers and cemented its place in the muscle car era of the late 1960s and early 1970s. Safety features in 1970 were still basic compared to modern standards, but the Torino included front disc brakes on some models, which was a performance upgrade that improved stopping power. The design of the Torino reflected the bold and confident style of its era, with clean lines, sculpted body panels, and a long hood that hinted at the powerful engines lurking beneath. Over time, the Torino evolved, but the 1970 model remains a favorite for collectors and muscle car fans because it perfectly captured the spirit of American muscle during its golden age. Today, well-preserved examples of the 1970 Ford Torino are highly prized, with enthusiasts appreciating both its historical significance and its raw driving excitement. That's the story of the 1970 Ford Torino, a car that combined style, power, and versatility to become a true American classic in the 1960s, and focusing on one of Ford Motor Company's most important cars of the era. This is the story of this coined 1960 Ford Falcon, a car built with a purpose, designed with simplicity, and remembered for its lasting impact on American motoring. In the late 1950s, American families were changing. Suburbia was growing, and with it came the need for affordable, fuel-efficient transportation. Not everyone wanted, or could afford, the big V8-powered cruisers dominating the highways. Sensing a shift in the market, Ford launched a new compact car aimed directly at this emerging group of buyers. The Ford Falcon made its debut in the fall of 1959 as a 1960 model. It was introduced as Ford's first true compact car, smaller and more economical than anything the company had offered before. And it wasn't just a new car, it was a new way of thinking. Simple, straightforward, and unpretentious, the Falcon was exactly what many Americans were looking for. From a design perspective, the 1960 Falcon carried a clean and modest look. It wasn't flashy or chrome-heavy like many of its competitors. Instead, it featured a slim horizontal grille, rounded headlights, and a no-nonsense body with smooth, flowing lines. Its understated style was part of its charm, appealing to buyers who wanted practicality over extravagance. Under the hood, the base Falcon came equipped with a 144 cubic inch inline-six engine, producing 90 horsepower. While that may not sound like much, it was perfectly adequate for daily driving, especially when paired with the car's light body and simple construction. A 3-speed manual transmission was standard, with a 2-speed Ford-O-Matic automatic available as an option. What really set the Falcon apart was its engineering simplicity. The car was designed to be easy to build, easy to maintain, and most importantly, easy to afford. At a starting price just over $1,900, the Falcon was one of the most affordable cars in the U.S. market at the time, making it popular with first-time buyers, young families, and anyone needing basic, reliable transportation. Inside, the Falcon continued the theme of practicality. The interior was modest, but well thought out. Bench seats front and back could seat 6 passengers, and the dashboard was simple and functional. Controls were intuitive, visibility was excellent, and materials were durable rather than luxurious. Perfect for a car that was meant to be used every day. The Falcon was also available in multiple body styles. Buyers could choose from a 2-door sedan, 4-door sedan, 2-door coupe, or a station wagon. This variety gave it broad appeal, and Ford made sure there was a Falcon for just about every kind of customer. One of the more interesting facts about the 1960 Falcon is how successful it was right from the start. In its first model year alone, Ford sold over 435,000 Falcons, making it the best-selling new car in America at the time. This success sent a clear message to the auto industry. Compact cars were no longer a niche. They were a necessity. The Falcon's platform would later become the foundation for one of Ford's most iconic vehicles, the Mustang. While the two cars had very different personalities, much of the Mustang's early engineering came directly from the humble Falcon, proving that solid foundations can lead to legendary results. Though it was marketed as a compact, the Falcon didn't feel small on the road. Thanks to its relatively long wheelbase and soft suspension, it offered a smooth and comfortable ride. Handling was predictable, and while it wasn't a sports car by any means, it delivered a confident driving experience for the average commuter. As the decade progressed, the Falcon would evolve with more power options, updated styling, and sportier variants. But in 1960, the first model year, it remained a pure expression of what Ford set out to do: build a no-frills, reliable, economical car for everyday Americans. Another reason the 1960 Falcon stands out in automotive history is its cultural impact. It arrived at a time when America was shifting gears, moving from the optimism of the 1950s to the uncertainty and rapid change of the 1960s. The Falcon, in many ways, was the car that met people in that transition. It was grounded, practical, and quietly dependable. Today, early Falcons are appreciated by collectors and classic car fans for their simplicity and ease of ownership. They're relatively affordable in the classic car market, and because they were built in such large numbers, finding parts isn't too difficult. For many, a 1960 Falcon is a great entry point into vintage car ownership. Whether seen at a car show or cruising down a country road, the 1960 Ford Falcon carries with it a sense of modest charm. It doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't need to. It simply reminds us that sometimes the most lasting impact comes not from bold statements, but from quiet confidence. Next time you see a Ford Falcon from 1960, take a moment to appreciate what it represents. A car built for the people, born from practicality, and remembered not for flash, but for fulfilling its purpose beautifully. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time. 1977 to revisit a vehicle that blurred the line between a car and a truck. It's the Ford Ranchero, an American original with a unique personality and a bold design that turned heads wherever it went. The 1977 model marked the beginning of the final generation of Rancheros, and it came at a time when personal style and utility were both in demand. Ford introduced the Ranchero back in 1957, but by 1977, the model had grown in size and sophistication. This was no longer just a workhorse. It was a personal luxury vehicle with a pickup bed. Built on the same platform as the Ford Thunderbird and LTD2, the 1977 Ranchero brought a level of comfort and flair that few other utility vehicles could match. Visually, the 77 Ranchero stood out with its long hood, wide stance, and a sharply sculpted front end. The grille was bold, featuring stacked rectangular headlights and a chrome surround that gave it a confident, almost formal appearance. The body was big, muscular, and unmistakably American, perfect for the era. The back end of the Ranchero remained functional, with a full-size truck bed capable of handling real loads. Whether you were hauling lumber or just heading to the beach with your surfboard, the Ranchero delivered. It combined the ride quality of a full-size car with the practicality of a pickup, something that still appeals to collectors today. Inside, the 1977 Ranchero offered surprising comfort. Depending on the trim level, you could get plush bench seating, wood-grain dash panels, air conditioning, and even an 8-track player. It wasn't just a utility vehicle, it was a cruiser. Many owners used it as a daily driver that could still get dirty on the weekends. Under the hood, Ford offered a range of V8 engines. The base model came with a 302 cubic inch, 5.0L V8, while optional upgrades included the 351 Windsor, 400, and even a 460 cubic inch, 7.5L, big block. These engines provided plenty of torque, making the Ranchero a strong performer whether empty or fully loaded. The ride quality was one of the Ranchero's hidden strengths. Thanks to its car-based chassis and suspension, it handled smoother than a traditional pickup truck. Independent front suspension and coil springs helped absorb road imperfections, offering a comfortable experience for both driver and passenger. Transmission options included a 3-speed manual and Ford's reliable Select Shift automatic. Most buyers opted for the automatic, adding to the Ranchero's appeal as a personal car-truck hybrid. It wasn't designed for off-roading or heavy-duty work, but for highway cruising and suburban hauling, it was just right. The 1977 Ranchero came in 3 main trim levels: the base 500, the GT, and the luxurious Squire. The GT featured sportier touches like rally wheels and optional striping, while the Squire added wood-grain paneling on the sides, giving it that classic 70s wagon look. These trim choices let buyers tailor the Ranchero to fit their lifestyle. One thing that made the Ranchero unique was its versatility. It could serve a small business owner during the week and take a family on a road trip over the weekend. It was a dual-purpose vehicle that reflected a changing American lifestyle, one that demanded more from every car on the road. By 1977, the Ranchero was in its 6th generation. Ford had refined the formula, aiming to make it more stylish and comfortable than ever before. Although it shared DNA with other Ford models, the Ranchero remained a category of its own, neither fully car nor truck, but something proudly in between. That it's interesting to note that 1977 was a peak year for personal luxury coupes, with models like the Chevrolet El Camino, Dodge Charger, and even the Ford Thunderbird dominating the streets. The Ranchero competed well in this space, offering similar luxury and style, but with the added bonus of a real truck. In terms of production numbers, Ford built over 64,000 Rancheros in 1977. That made it one of the more successful years for the model, thanks in part to its new styling and strong marketing push. It was clear that there was still a market for vehicles that offered both work and pleasure. Today, the 1977 Ford Ranchero is a favorite among collectors and restorers. It represents a unique moment in American automotive history, a time when car companies weren't afraid to mix categories and try something new. The Ranchero's distinctive look and purpose still capture imaginations today. Restored models are often seen at car shows, with gleaming paint jobs, chrome bumpers, and V8s that rumble just right. Many owners go for period-correct restorations, while others customize their Rancheros into hot rods or cruisers. The platform is strong and the design is flexible enough to allow for creative builds. Parts availability is still relatively good, especially since the Ranchero shared so many components with other Ford models of the time. This has helped keep the Ranchero scene alive and thriving. Enthusiasts form tight-knit communities, sharing restoration tips, swap meet finds, and road trip stories as the years go by. The Ford Ranchero continues to earn respect as more than just a novelty. It was practical, comfortable, and unapologetically stylish. It may not have been the biggest seller in Ford's lineup, but it left a lasting legacy and carved out a space in the hearts of those who appreciate a different kind of classic car. Thanks for watching Old Car Stories. If you enjoyed this look back at the 1977 Ford Ranchero, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing your Ranchero memories or dream build ideas. Until next time, keep those wheels turning and those stories alive.